I really want everybody to hear from Matt Mulholland and John Pruitt, so I'm going to try to cut my presentation down a little bit, so if everybody can take their seats and we'll get started. We'll talk about the cornerstone principles of the rule of law. Okay. What is it that sets a modern society apart from like a third world country? Exactly. Court system, rule of law, procedures, right? Justice, or at least access to the justice system. No one's above the law. If anybody's above the law, then you have a tyrant, right? You have dictators. You do not have the rule of law. With the rule of law, everybody's treated equally. The same applies for individuals as large corporations. There are clear and fair processes for enforcing the law. There is access to an open and independent judiciary. On the insurance claim side, who's going to provide that access to the judiciary system? Who's going to protect the insured? Is the Department of Insurance going to do that? No. Is Allstate going to do that? No. Is State Farm going to do that? We are going to do that. It's collectively, it's all of us here that's in this room. It's attorneys, it's public adjusters, it's contractors. Collectively, we have to provide the access to the judicial system. So what's happening in this country? You have the courthouse doors chained shut. Access to justice is denied. Why are the courthouse doors chained shut? The insurance companies are trying to change the laws, change the regulations, keep us separated and segregated, right? It's up to us as the advocates for the insured to stand up to this. I told you I wanted you to get up, I wanted you to stretch a little bit, because I'm going to step on some toes. In fact, I may tap dance on it, that's fine. I want you to feel it, okay? This goes to attorneys in the room, this goes to public adjusters, it goes to contractors. Only taking large claims is detrimental to the insured. It's detrimental to the industry. If you only focus on large losses and large claims, who are you leaving out? 90% of those who have claims out there. Now, I understand you can't take all small claims. That's not what I'm asking you to do. But I am asking you to commit here today to start taking a percentage of small claims. In your firm, that may be 10%, it may be 20%. Maybe you can do 40 or 50% small claims. But make a commitment to take small claims. When they're going to go down and try to pass special legislation in December in Florida, are they trying to pass new legislation just to impact the small claims? No. They're coming after all claimants, large and small. So sitting back and thinking, those State Farm cases are too hard to take. Those $30,000 losses are just too much work. That's wishful thinking. That's like saying, I hope the cancer just stays over there in that corner. I hope it doesn't spread across to other claims. It will. I know a lot of attorneys that won't take State Farm cases. I know a lot of public adjusters that won't take State Farm cases. Guess who's watching that? Who else is watching it? Allstate, USAA, Safeco, Liberty Mutual, everybody else. We talked about the McKinsey report the other day, right? You had every other insurance company follow in line after that report came out. Collectively, they're talking, they're working together. And what all the other insurance companies want to know is what State Farm is doing working. Taking the hard line, scorched earth, we're not going to pay for that approach. Financially, does it work out? And if it does work out for them, it's going to spread like a wildfire to everybody, every insurance company across the country. We have to fight back on every claim. I'm telling you, you can not only survive, but actually thrive on the smaller claims. I take large losses. I represent a lot of school districts, a lot of $40, $50 million losses. But I'll tell you what, I take a lot of small claims too. And some of those most rewarding claims are the $10,000 claims. I called an insured a few weeks ago, told him we have a settlement on your case. Told him the number. He said, can you give me 2 weeks? I said, well, no, this offer is only open for about 3 days. I said, why do you need 2 weeks? He said, because I'm going to need to get a moving truck to move out, right? Because the insurance company must be buying my house for that. Right? No, he thought for settling for that amount, he was actually selling his house. No, it was like, no, you get to keep your house and you get the money. Right? Those are the cases that leave an impact upon you. When you go fight for Mrs. Johnson and you get the roof over Mrs. Johnson's house, right? That's what leaves an impact. Cal, how many times have people made cookies for you? Right? Cried on your shoulder. Those are the ones that make an impact. Now, do you have to take larger cases to make that happen? Yes. Right? I understand you can't survive on all the small cases. But we are closing the door. I told you the insurance companies out there fighting to close the courthouse door. They're just trying to put the chain on the door that we already shut. Think about that. They are trying to put the chain on the door that we already closed ourselves. Why? Why did we close it ourselves? Because we stopped taking the small claims as contractors, as public adjusters, as attorneys. I told you I'm going to step on some toes. That's fine. There's a lot of law firms out there that won't take cases unless it's a $100,000 minimum, $250,000 minimum. Or next year it's going to be $500,000, and then after that it's going to be $1 million. You don't think the insurance companies know that? If they fight like heck on the small claims and they get you to stop taking them, they're going to fight like heck on the large claims. We have to protect the insured. What Cal's been saying, and Melanie, and through PPA, the motto is protect the insured. Does that mean protect the large insured? Protect, what is it? Protect all insureds. Protect everybody. Collectively, we have to stand up. Dr. King said, injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. Let that sink in for a minute. Injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. So if we leave that unfair claim settlement practices unchecked on Ms. Johnson's $25,000 claim, it's going to spread. We have to collectively fight back. So I want you to get out of your comfort zone and start taking some of the smaller cases. I'm telling you that financially, you'll find out that they settle a lot quicker, right? It can pay for your overhead. But also, they are the most rewarding cases to take on. And if we don't fight the insurance companies on the $25,000, $30,000 roof claims, and I mean fight State Farm and fight Allstate, you're going to have every other insurance company out there following in line with their scorched earth policy that they're taking right now. So I see a lot of areas in the country that are not being adequately represented. Chicago. Okay. There's good attorneys here in the state, but there are a lot of states where you have no public adjusters, you have no attorneys, or if you're in a state that does have public adjusters and does have attorneys, they're just not taking them. because those are the small cases, right? William Shakespeare. First thing we do, let's kill all the lawyers. Anybody heard that before? Let's kill all the lawyers. That's the problem that solves everything, right? Does anybody know the background of this statement? Let's kill all lawyers. It was in one of his plays, King Henry VI. It was a pejorative, right? That's what everybody tells you. Like, let's kill all attorneys. They're bad. They're evil. They're causing all the problems in the country. That's why we have high interest rates. That's why we have unemployment, right? It's because the attorneys are driving up the cost of litigation, so they have to raise the rates on things they sell at the store. It's a myth. Go back and read the play, King Henry VI by Shakespeare. He was saying the opposite. He wasn't saying kill all lawyers because they're bad. He said if you want to take over a country, if you want tyranny to reign, then kill the attorneys. If you want to take over society, take away the people that protect, that uphold the rule of law, that enforce it. Take away the protectors. The same statement can go for public adjusters. Kill the public adjusters, kill the attorneys, kill the contractors, right? Make it a fractured industry, and what happens? Chaos. You have a bunch of sheep insured, but there's nobody there. There's no watchdog. The wolf can come in and do what he wants to do. Exactly. So it's used as a pejorative, but it's not. It's saying, look at those that are actually fighting to uphold, to protect, to fight for truth, for fight for justice. If you want to bring down a society, do so by killing the lawyers. Do so by killing those that protect and defend others. It was actually a compliment to attorneys. It was not a pejorative. Is the Department of Insurance going to fight for you? Are they going to regulate the insurance company and keep them in check? Who's going to do that? The lawyers. Can the lawyers do their job without public adjusters doing it first? No. When a case comes to me, it's either a good case or it's a bad case because the public adjusters worked on it and documented it. If there's no documentation there, I don't have facts, I don't have evidence, I don't have exhibits to use. So we all have to play our role and do our job. Do you have a question, Steve?
I had asked the commissioner in charge of insurance if they were a consumer protection agency, and he said absolutely not. Regulate the business of insurance.
Absolutely. Okay. The Department of Insurance is not going to come in and be the champion for the insured. Right. Attorneys have fought for the safety glass in automobiles after horrific accidents, have fought for safer drugs. It's the court system that provides protection for the consumer, for the insured, right? The FDA doesn't go out and verify all the drugs are safe. When do drugs get pulled off the market? When people start dying and they're bad. But who holds the drug makers accountable? Attorneys. Let's talk about insurance. When insurance companies go out there and they screw the insured, is it the Department of Insurance that's going to step up and hold them accountable? It's you. It's us. Together, we all have to collectively fight back. So we need to put on our armor and go into battle. This is a war. We need to use honesty, integrity, fairness, truthfulness. You have to advocate for the insured. One of my favorite things is going and walking with my wife and kids on the beach. And so there's a story that when my kids were young, I used to read to them when they would go to bed. And it's about the starfish. There's a big storm. Comes in, high tide, pushes all the starfish up on the beach. So you got millions of starfish up on the beach everywhere. And a little boy's out there taking the starfish and he's throwing them back into the ocean, one by one. And an old man walks along and says, "What are you doing?" He said, "I'm saving the starfish." He said, "Son, there's millions of them. There's no way you can save all these starfish." He said, "I saved that one. I made a difference in that case." I know you can't represent every single insured out there. But write this down. You can do what you can, where you're at, with the skills and abilities you have. You can protect the case this time. You can protect Miss Johnson. If you start doing that and you commit to doing that, then collectively we can turn this tide back. But if we don't, and we only go after the larger losses, the industry will be dead in about 15 years. Because the insurance companies are going to pass so many laws on the books, they're going to put so many onerous provisions in the insurance policy, where they're going to make it where the insured is essentially self-insured. Because you have deductibles that are so high, you have onerous provisions, the duties after a loss, and then you have the legislature coming in, changing the laws. So if we don't collectively work together and fight back, this industry won't be here in 15 or 20 years. And it starts with every claim you work on. Protect the small claims, and everything else will fall in line. If you want to protect the insured, start by making a difference in the claim you're working right now. Do what you can, where you are, with what you have. And I'm going to try to skip forward real quick because we have some good speakers. I want you all to hear from John. I want you all to hear from Matt. But I'll leave you with this. A couple things. I'm going to retry a case coming up in a few weeks. It's a case from Hurricane Ike. I'll tell you the backstory later if you want to when we have some drinks later. But it's a $40 million case. But before that $40 million case, I have a deposition for Ms. Fields next week. Her $50,000 roof claim is just as important to me as that $40 million case. I'm working it up the same way. I'm documenting it the same way. And to be honest with you, it'll be nice if I can get the $40 million case settled. But Ms. Fields left a bigger impression on me than that. I do a lot of large losses, and I'm here to tell you, a lot of times, those large losses, when they settle, they're the ones who want to argue with you on the fees the most, right? They're the ones that are ungrateful. But when Ms. Fields gives you a hug and says, "Thank you very much, you protected my house, I don't have to move out now," that's the one that's going to stay with you. On my mantle in my office, I have a plaque. Let me get to it real quick. From Sam Houston. It says, "Do the right thing and risk the consequences." If you've been here, you've listened to the speakers, you know what the right thing to do is. Now go out and do it and risk the consequences. Thank you all.